Okay, this video is all about the blush bronzer brush. This brush is my absolute favorite brush. I cannot say that enough because I feel like it's the most bang for your buck. I feel like it's the most versatile. I feel like it's a really good brush for someone who has never used cream makeup, and it's just fantastic. So let's talk about this just a little bit. So this end here is a soft little bunny tail end, a little bit shorter bristles, obviously, than this one, and it's a little bit more dense. This end is amazing for your highlight, your contour, your blush, all of the things. It was created to apply your blush, but it does so much more. This end is obviously got longer bristles. It's a little bit more fluffy, not as dense. This is the blending side or the side for your bronzer. That's what it was created for. I use this to blend my contour. I use it to blend my lip and cheek color, my bronzer. I use it to dust off setting powder. This brush is hands down my favorite. So I'm gonna show you how to use it. So let's start. I always start with my highlight color. So this is my main shade. I'm gonna use this in. Now this brush gives you more of a light to medium coverage. So if you are someone who likes a lighter coverage, more natural look, not the full glam makeup, this is definitely for you. If you want a little bit more pigment or product placed, then you'll hold your hand a little bit closer to the bristles. But if you want a lighter hand and maybe just a touch lighter coverage, hold your hand a little bit further back on the brush. It is a subtle difference, but it will make a big difference, I promise. So now, once we finish this, here is the trick for contour. I will say I use this brush anytime I'm doing the Cheetah hack where you're putting the dots on your face. This is the brush for that for sure. But for contour, this is the caveat with this brush. You can either do the dots on your face and blend it in like the Cheetah hack, or you can take the smaller end of this brush, squeeze the bristles, and place your contour that way. You are gonna wanna make sure that you squeeze it versus dipping that whole brush in product because it's going to be way too much or too thick of a line. So I always will squeeze the brush head while I'm doing contour. I do find with this brush, I have to do a little bit heavier contour because again, it is a lighter coverage brush, but make sure you squeeze. Now, I flip the brush over, use the fluffy end, and blend. So remember, I push it upward toward my hairline. I push this up toward my temple or toward my eye, never pulling anything down. We don't want to draw the face down. We want it up and lifted. Okay, so there is how I do my contour. If I want to add in that second highlight with this brush, usually what I'll do, that brightener, I will usually put it on with my finger because the head of this brush is obviously bigger. It's very difficult to get that detail. So I will use my finger to apply, use the small end of the brush and blend that in. That is how I do the second highlight under my eyes. So let me blend that in. And same thing if I was doing that second highlight on the forehead here. So I just put a couple dots here and here. So same thing. I will just blend that in. I do a lot of blending with this brush. Like I will then flip it over and make sure I have everything blended out. Now, if I'm going to do my bronzer, I'm gonna take the big end of this brush, tap it into my bronzer, and put it on the high points of my face. So I put it in my center of my forehead. that cheekbone. I then take whatever's left on my brush and dust it across my nose, and put a little bit on my chin. I do like to carry bronzer down as well, my neck, just to soften everything up. Okay, with my lip and cheek color, because this brush, the head is so big, I apply it with my finger. I feel like if I put it on with my brush and then stick it on my face, the bristles might splay out just a little bit and I might get a little extra lip and cheek. So I'm gonna put it on with my finger, and then I'm gonna use the small end first to stamp and start to blend. Always blending upward, especially because I like to keep my blush toward the outer portion of my face just to create that little bit of lift, but you definitely don't want your blush in that line. So I push outward, so stamp, and then push outward. I then go back in, I flip over to the big side and just soften things up a bit because I love this side for blending. It's such a good blending brush. Perfect. Look at that. Okay, and then the last step is applying my illuminator with my finger. So I'll put it under those eyes. I do like to put it down the center of my nose, on my Cupid's bow, and sometimes get a little crazy. Rose gold is our really good lip color. So that is it. So that is all things blush, bronzer, brush. Again, it has to be my favorite. Hands down, the most versatile, the most bang for your buck. Light, medium coverage, but that's it. If you have more questions about this specific brush, drop them below.